your Consumer Corner. The deadline to file your taxes just days away, and if you haven't filed yet, you need to make some smart decisions this week in order to comply with the IRS. Financial planner Joe Bert joining us now with tips to keep your files with the IRS on the up and up and avoid those red flags. Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's talk about the date. Usually everybody thinks April 15th is the date on the calendar.
Traditionally it's April 15th, but this year we have a reprieve. We have another weekend, so if you want to go out and enjoy the good weather, this is the weekend maybe to do it.
Okay.
The due date is now April 18th, and the reason for that is there is a federal holiday only in Washington, so because Washington offices are closed, we have until next Monday to get the taxes in.
Every procrastinator is loving you right now. Let's talk about those red flags.
Sure.
Higher incomes.
Well, that's a red flag. Once again, if your income is over $200,000, you're going to get a little bit more scrutiny. So if you do everything right, not a problem, but that's where they begin to dig a little bit deeper, if you will.
Okay, what about incomes other than basic wages?
What they're looking for here is particularly people in a cash business, like hairdressers, people maybe running a taxi services.
Uber
now, if you're
drivers?
Uber's pretty good because they send you a 1099.
Oh, okay.
But if you're running some kind of limousine service,
gotcha.
Okay, or if you're a hostess or a waiter or waitress, that kind of stuff.
Okay, what about alimony?
Alimony is deductible if you pay it, but if you get alimony, you have to record it as income.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
okay, let's talk about home-based businesses. I know this can be a real big red flag.
Yeah, once again, they're looking for people that don't have the traditional 1099 or W-2 kind of income coming in, and you have a home-based business that you're doing. Maybe you're doing lawn care service or your pool maintenance or something out of your home. If you're running stuff out of your home, and this is where people get a little bit aggressive, you know. I use my entire family room to run my home-based business when actually you only have a little desk and a laptop computer. That's a red flag. That's a big one.
What about non-cash charitable deductions?
Well, here's where you're giving away stuff, not cash, but you're giving away stuff, and you claim a deduction for greater than $500. What they're looking for is when let's say you have a lot of old furniture that you're giving away. You say, you know, this stuff looks kind of antique-ish to me, and maybe I can get away with writing off a little bit more. If you give away more than $500, you have to file what's called a Form 8283, and you have to detail exactly what it is. That is a red flag.
So under $500, you should be okay.
Yeah, but don't get to $499 because that, you know.
Yeah,
don't get too creative.
Okay, what about large business meal and entertainment deductions?
Well, once again, what they look at is proportion of what your income is in relationship to what you're taking for dining out. You know, it's a real easy thing to do. You're out with your friends on Friday night, Saturday night. Maybe we talk a little bit of business. I'm going to write off this whole $250 meal, and you have a lot of that. They're going to look at that. And if you're staying away from home for business purposes, you have to have a receipt if it's more than $75.
How about excessive auto deductions?
Well, here's where the IRS is looking at how much do you really use your auto in your business. A lot of people say, well, you know, I use my automobile a lot. I'm going to write off everything. Can't do it. You have to keep detailed records of what you use your automobile for.
They're really specific about that one, too. What about using a hobby versus a business as a loss?
This can be a red flag, particularly if you have a lot of expenses. You can't have a hobby loss. You have to make a profit in so many number of years. I think it's 3 out of 5 years at which you're running the hobby that you have to make a profit. And one of the real big ones is if you have horses, because horses are very expensive.
Yes.
And if you're really trying to run it as a business, but basically it's a loss, you got to be careful about taking those deductions.
You're going to be back tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, I'll be here with 2 of my colleagues from 7 to 9 or 7 to 10. We're going to take live call-in calls. So if any of our viewers have any questions about their taxes, we'll be here to take your questions, so be sure to check in.
Joe, great advice as always.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you so much. Stay